searching the web or whatever, and I came across this app called Simbull, and this is a total scam. So what they do is you sign up for the app, right? And then you could deposit, however much money you want, like 5, 10, 100, 200, 300, whatever you want to deposit. And you basically buy these teams, right? So like it has NFL, MLB, NBA, and NHL. You buy these teams, and you basically own these teams. And then every time the team wins, you basically get a dividend from the team. So they'll pay you like $1 every time the team wins. So that will go towards your balance, and then you could basically withdraw the money. So the problem is with this situation is, where is the revenue coming from for these dividends, for them to pay out all these dividends that these people own from their teams? It has to be coming from people buying teams, and they're basically funneling funds from new investors that are buying these teams, and they're using it to pay out the dividends to these old investors that already own the teams. Because there's no way you could pay a dividend if there's no revenue from the team. You're basically betting that the team wins, but how are they earning revenue from that if you own the team? So it's this massive kind of like Ponzi scheme, and I would just like avoid this app and this company overall. They say in the news, and they have all this news and like press releases being released. Oh, they're backed by DraftKings, and they have all these venture capital firms behind them. But the business model just doesn't make sense, and I think it's all a ploy, and it's going to end up turning into a Ponzi scheme, because I don't understand where the revenue is coming from to pay out all these dividends to all these investors that own these teams. And it just seems like it's this kind of like fake sports betting model, and they don't even have a license to be doing sports betting or doing these like fantasy drafts. So I think this company is like totally shady. I don't know why anybody would get involved with this. But what I did was I signed up, and I tried to like, scheme the system. I signed up, I deposited $1, the minimum, because they give you this free team when you sign up. So I thought I could just sign up and then withdraw the money, and like 16, 17x my money. Like I put in $1, I could get a $20 team and then withdraw. But then when I went to do that, they said that you have to basically trade $100 worth before you can withdraw the money. So then I just like took my dollar back, and I withdrew it, and then I just deleted the app, because I thought I could like basically scam the Ponzi scheme, but it didn't work out. So I deposited $1 and then withdrew the dollar.
Yeah, that's interesting. So my main thing too is like, are they paying for the licensing rights for these teams? Like, how does that work? Are they just like, oh, you buy like equity in the Knicks? It's like, I'm pretty sure James Dolan is not selling equity in the Knicks. Like, he's been pretty adamant about not selling the Knicks unless he gets like a crazy offer for them. So how does this fucking app even work? Like, that doesn't make any sense. It's not like you're buying actual equity in the team. So how could you make money when they win? That makes no fucking sense. That's number one to me. That's the first concern I have, and I think that's pretty valid. The second concern I have is that it looks like they're buying positive reviews, allegedly buying positive reviews, because I did see that Pro Football Focus gave them some like resounding rating or whatever when I looked at this app on the App Store just now. And that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Pro Football Focus is like a very reputable website, particularly in that like fantasy football space. So I don't know why they would put their name on something without kind of doing their homework. And the other thing is this, all Ponzi schemes, when you think about them inherently, the whole system is predicated upon paying out the new people with old people's money, early depositors in this case. And the way the Ponzi scheme works is that they pay out the new people, and then they're able to show like a boost in revenue, and then they're able to secure loans or financing, and then they basically just use the loans or financing to pay out other people until they reach a point where they can't get any more financing or loans, and then they just start taking the fucking money like from other people, and then they never pay them out, and they just kind of wash their hands and walk away. So it'll fold up shop. I mean, I'm pretty much convinced that this is a Ponzi scheme just from what you were telling me, and just from what I'm reading now online. It appears to be very evident that there's some type of Ponzi scheme elements to this, and clearly it's just like, how are they making money? Like, that's the number one question. Like, how do they make money? And if your returns are astronomical, or ridiculous for you doing nothing, there's something there. It's not like you own equity in any of these companies, or these teams. it's not like stocks where like I could buy equity in Apple and I could turn around and sell it and double my money in a couple of years, or I could buy equity in whatever company and then tomorrow it could be more valuable and then I dump it. Like, these are not income producing assets. They're not backed by earnings. They're not even backed by physical equity in any of these franchises. So to me, it's just Ponzi scheme written all over it.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. It's definitely is a Ponzi scheme. There's no equity. There's nothing backing it. This is. I know you asked like how are they making revenue? This is how they say they're making revenue to support their operations. I don't necessarily believe what they're saying, but I'm just going to give their point of view. I still believe it's a Ponzi scheme after doing some analysis on how they say they get revenue to pay out the dividends, because it's simply not enough to pay out all the teams' dividends and all the people that have teams on the site. So they say they pay out the dividends through trading fees. So every time you buy and sell a team on the platform, like an artificial team, because you're not actually buying and selling equity in a team, it's just like this artificial kind of equity. They take a cut of the fee when you sell their teams, but in essence, they pay out. They only had 50 million in trading, and no, they only had 50,000. I'm sorry, not 50 million. That would be crazy if they had that. They only had 50,000 in trading fees, and they had to make dividend payments of 600,000 last year. So they're basically $540,000 in the hole, um, in their dividend payments versus their trading fees. So there you go, right there. That doesn't make sense. The money has to be coming from new investors to support that.
That's got to be VC money or something. There's no way.
And they say they get ad revenue, but when I looked up the Google Analytics and looked at the traffic, the app barely has any traffic at all. So the ad revenue can't add up to that much. There's simply like not enough ad revenue to support that. So the ad revenue, I'm not buying that. The trading fees, I'm not buying that. And these two elements of their revenue, they don't add up to the dividend payments needed in order to make this successful. So simply they're taking money from new investors and paying it off to old investors. And this Ponzi scheme is going to collapse. I don't know when it's going to collapse, but eventually it's going to collapse when they run out of money.
Yeah, I mean,
And this is the thing that people
we
don't
talk
understand.
about
Like
this a
Ponzi
lot.
schemes can go on for a
Sorry, go
long
ahead.
period of
My
time.
bad.
Like they can go on for 10, 12, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 years sometimes, Ponzi schemes. And you look around, you say, oh, like this has been going on for 7, 8, 9, 10 years. It must be legit. No, like Ponzi schemes can go on longer than you think they can go on before they blow up and collapse.